Having just introduced a bunch of qualifiers or caveats about Descartes' actual view, it is still nevertheless useful for us as contemporary students of philosophy to understand the way in which epistemologists have come to conceive of Descartes' project. It's the epistemological interpretation of Descartes' work that motivates some philosophers to proclaim that he's the father of modern epistemology. And so it's useful to see how he inspired contemporary epistemology. And what we're going to focus on in this lecture module is just addressing his foundationalism. So one way in which the scholastic/scientific revolution tension emerges, this changeover in worldviews, is through Descartes' foundationalism. And that is his view that while he spends a lot of time thinking about individual judgments, he also thinks about judgments in relationship to each other as they form an overall network, a worldview, a knowledge edifice. And so Descartes has both of these things in his mind, and they're intimately connected for him in the way that they really don't do much work in the Theaetetus. So foundationalism about beliefs just asserts this interconnectedness, but a very sort of special interconnectedness. Foundationalism about beliefs supposes that there are some beliefs that are what we might call basic beliefs, foundational beliefs. And foundational beliefs are ones that everything else in your knowledge edifice or your belief system is built upon. So ideally, you should be able to trace back any particular belief in your knowledge edifice down to one or more foundational beliefs through successive inferences, or for Descartes, your ideas through successive judgments. So all of your beliefs in your belief system, therefore, are going to be either foundational or dependent upon foundational beliefs. And so one metaphor to conceive of this with is the idea that your knowledge structure has a sort of structure like an ice cream cone or a Zunga tower. Every single element higher up is dependent upon the elements lower down. So that ice cream scoop at the very top of your ice cream cone, that is dependent upon, it's supported by the scoop underneath it, and that's supported by the scoop underneath it, and so on, all the way down to the cone. And this is how Descartes thinks of beliefs, that these foundational beliefs and everything else is built up from them. Well, what differentiates foundational from non-foundational beliefs? Or in a more contemporary parlance, basic beliefs from non-basic beliefs. So that has to do with Descartes' foundationalism about knowledge. And specifically, Descartes has a view that contemporary foundationalists have adopted as a theory of justification for the justificational component of the justified true belief theory of knowledge. So how does the foundationalism about knowledge work? Well, all your beliefs, all your judgments are divided into these two camps: basic, non-basic, foundational, non-foundational. The foundational beliefs differ from the non-foundational. The basic beliefs differ from the non-basic beliefs. And they differ very specifically, namely their epistemic merit. The reason why they're justified, the reason why they count as knowledge, is their intrinsic properties. So they are intrinsically or self-justified. And for Descartes, what this means is they are clear and distinct, or certain and indubitable. Our judgments about them compel assent. And for this reason, they have their own intrinsic epistemic status. Now, other beliefs aren't intrinsically justified in this way. They aren't intrinsically epistemically meritorious. Instead, they have to get their justification, their epistemic merit, by relationship to those basic beliefs. And so a metaphor you can think of for this is it's like a relay race, a baton relay race, where we have a basic belief at the beginning of that race, and they've got the justification baton, the epistemic merit baton. They're self-justified. And in order for the next runner to continue on, in order for the next belief to be justified, that justification has to be transferred, in this case through inference, just as the runner would hand off the baton to the next runner in that relay race. And every time you need to justify a belief that's not a basic belief, it has to go through this process. There has to be some basic belief who, through one or more intermediaries, handed off or transferred their justificational status through inference or judgment to this new idea or belief. So foundationalism about justification or about judgments just holds that there is this basic distinction between intrinsically justified or intrinsically known things, judgments that compel assent, and other judgments. And they then get their merit, these other judgments, through that transference of justificational status. So again, for Descartes, a foundational idea gains its epistemic merit from assenting to a clear and distinct judgment grounded in the certainty of immediate experience or rational intuition. I hold something red in front of you and you go, yeah, that's red, there's no doubting it. Or I tell you 2 + 2 = 4, and you go, yeah, that's just intuitively obvious, can't be doubted. All right? Non-foundational ideas gain their epistemic merit because we make judgments about relationships that they have, evidential relationships they have, to these foundational ideas that we've already assented to. And it's this judgment of the relationship that transfers the epistemic merit. And so they are all based, in this case, upon rational intuition about the veracity of this new idea given the other ideas, so the succession of ideas. And so it's the same kind of baton handing off with a framework of justifications and ideas.